All right. Well, we are ready to go to stage three, or at least we're ready to see if we're ready to go to stage three. Now, I had a little delay here because my tumbler, my older tumbler, at several times during the last 10 days or so, I just came out and found it stopped. The motor was still running, but the barrels weren't tumbling. And that happens over use. Again, I keep my tumblers going off in 24/7, 365. And so eventually they need some maintenance, and I had to replace the rollers and put a new belt and other things. So we're just catching back up now. So this is the batch we've been working on, and it's dry now, as you can tell, because I had to take it all out of the barrels for so I could work on the tumbler. And this is a good time to kind of examine the rocks. You'll notice that they have a smooth, dull finish at this point. And again, you can keep them in these earlier stages longer if you want to shape them more. But I always have liked the more natural shape. So what I'm looking for here is just a really nice, smooth feel. And although I look at the rocks, but I also let my fingers tell me how far along they are. And I'm pretty pleased with where these ones are. They feel good. They've got good smoothness to them. Here is that one that was kind of problematic. It's just a whole, just a real mess. I'm going to leave it in just to show you what it looks like when it is finally polished. But this is one I would normally just take out and not continue the process with. But I'm going to go ahead and continue that on this time. There's some pits in some of these other ones, but nothing that I'm going to be particularly worried about. They all feel good. They look good. Here's a nice piece of banded agate. Okay, so it's time to put them back in the tumbler. So I've got my barrel here, and I'm going to, when I put them in like this, I try to have kind of a mixture of the different sizes. Because you remember I said you do need a mix of sizes, and so I try not to put all of the big ones in at the bottom and the little ones at the top. They will mix up in time, but it's just nicer if I can go ahead and get that mixing process started early. So as I go through here and grab these ones to put them back in, I'm just going to mix them up, make sure that I'm getting all of the different sizes. And I'm probably going to need to add some more filler. I'm going to pull this out. These are baby wipes, incidentally. If you follow my art videos, you'll know I use baby wipes a lot in that process. They're great for this too because they absorb the water that's coming up off of the rocks. So again, baby wipes are sort of my universal go-to when it comes to just things that I need in art and rock tumbling. Okay, now again, the rocks will have lost some volume, so we're going to get our measuring thing here. I don't know what you would call it, just our measuring piece. It's a little bit, sometimes it's hard to tell because the bigger rocks will tend to put it off. It's pretty close to what it was before. I'm going to add just a few more of the ceramic pieces just to fill in some of that, but I'm not going to add a lot more than what's already in there. So I've got a scoop here. I'm going to just add a little bit more. That should do it. Be more than enough. Give that a shake. Let's see what we got. And that's pretty close. Remember, this needs to be at the top. Basically, you're going for a barrel that is 3/4 full. These are 3-pound barrels. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my borax in. Now remember, when I'm rinsing or burnishing, I use about 3 tablespoons. Here I just want 1. And that's just to kind of help get a better slurry, a thicker slurry going. Okay, and here I am using, this is stage 3 aluminum oxide, and you can see I have the date that I bought it, May 2021. It's not really important necessarily to do that, but I like to kind of keep track of when I'm buying things and how quickly I go through everything. So here I'm going to put about 1.5 scoops of this in. Well, there's 1 scoop. Oops, wait a minute. I always tend to get this out of sequence if I'm not careful. I like to add water before I put in the grit. Well, can't get nice. There's my sprayer. I don't know how to spray too much, but okay. So I'm going to add the water and get that up to just about the bottom. Now that grit is going to soak up some of that water, so I want to make sure that I've got enough there. Okay, so the bigger rocks are kind of peeking above the surface of the water, and that should be fine. So I'm going to put about 1.5 scoops here in. And then I will tend to, because sometimes with the grits that are stage 3 and stage 4, they're very powdery, and so they tend to do like here, where when I dump them in, they tend to kind of, I don't know what the word is, kind of explode upwards, and I don't want them in this little notch where the lid goes. So that's going to go on here. Again, it's that time of year, getting kind of cold, and the rubber of these barrels is a little stiffer. Okay, I'm going to put the lid back on. Okay, this is Monday, the Monday before Thanksgiving. So it will be next Monday that I will check these, and hopefully they will be ready to go on to stage 4. Well, I got 3 more barrels to fill, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll see you next week.